Good afternoon, my dear students, and welcome to this session of Success at CA Examination. And today we will be discussing for the subject CA Intermediate Paper 4, Cost and Management Accounting. And this is a very important paper, but first paper of second group, that is Group 2. And we know that this is a paper where there are a lot of numericals and yeah. Shall I carry on? So, in this subject, there are conceptual understanding as well as there are numerical questions which you need to solve. And there are many concepts and many understanding which you require, as well as a lot of numerical practice you need to do for this particular subject. So slowly we'll be going through one by one, and obviously whenever you have any question in your mind, always you can ask those questions. So first of all, let me go through the basic part of this subject and go through certain information. So what we'll be discussing today is number one is the syllabus as well as weightage. The syllabus and section-wise weightage we'll be discussing. Also, we'll be discussing the skill-wise weightage. The analysis of the question paper, the structure of the question paper, generally we see that also we'll discuss. A summary of each chapter with important points to remember that will be part of the presentation. Various tips, presentation tips or preparation tips will be providing. How to revise examination, do's and do nots, what is to be done and what is not to be done. So these all are part and partial of our discussion, and slowly we'll be going through our presentation, as well as there are mock test paper questions, and if any particular question want to discuss, that also can be done. Obviously, I'll be discussing certain questions from my side so that you can have a thorough understanding of this particular subject. Also, if you have any question, any doubt, any particular query, particularly technical subject related things, I will be happy to provide you the answer of that. So first, I think we should go the syllabus and section-wise weightage, and then we'll be going for the skill-wise weightage of this particular subject. First is overview of cost and management accounting. So 10 to 15% of section weightage is given, that is 11 to 18 marks. Introduction to cost and management accounting is the first topic, where we will see that objective and scope of cost and management accounting, the users, the role of cost accounting, installation of costing system, relationship between cost accounting, financial accounting, as well as management accounting and financial management is also given. Various cost terms and concepts has been explained in this particular chapter, and you need to go through all these concepts very well. Cost reduction, cost control, this is another very important topic, and conceptually you need to understand, as well as you need to differentiate between the two, because many times we see that in the question paper the question comes like that. Elements of cost, cost behavior pattern, separating the components of fixed, semi-variable and variable, and step cost, then techniques of costing, and some part of digital costing. And then there is cost sheet, the elements of cost sheet. So this is 11 to 18 marks, and if you see that this is a numerical part, and this is a theoretical part. except segregation or separating of the cost, separating the components. Everything is basically conceptual understanding. And the last question are mainly consisting certain concept from this. And generally, we see the numerical question, various type of numerical question of cost sheet in the examination. So this is the first part of it. There are four part, and this is the first part of our discussion. Ascertainment of cost and cost accounting system. Now, this is probably the major part of the subject cost and management accounting. 35 to 40%, 41 to 47 marks are there. Material cost, employee cost, then overhead, ABC, recording and accounting of cost are certain major parts of our discussion. So when we are talking about the material cost, the introduction of procurement procedure, valuation receipt, issue, then material requirement analysis, and including the government e-marketplace, GEM. So these also we have included in the syllabus. Then ERP, the process of tender and quotation, and how this process is done, what is the way it should be done. So very important topic. Then we talk about the inventory control in the next part, and various fixation of different level like minimum level, maximum level, reorder level, safety stock level, determination of optimum stock level, all are part of it. Determination of optimum order quantity, that is EOQ, very important. A lot of numerical question we generally see from here. Techniques of inventory control, ABC analysis, fast, slow moving and non moving, high, medium, low, vital, essential, desirable, that is VED, and then JIT, just in time stock taking, then perpetual inventory system or continuous inventory system, inventory control ratio. So this is also a numerical part. Then EOQ obviously is a numerical part, and various level is also a numerical part. Then the treatment of normal loss, abnormal loss, very important conceptual understanding you require. Waste, scrap, spoilage, defective, and obsolescence. Employee cost and direct expenses is the next topic in this particular segment or section. Then overhead. There are few classification, few areas which you need to understand in this overhead. One is the function analysis. So factory administration, selling, distribution, research and development. These are various areas. Behavioral analysis, fixed, variable and semi-variable. Allocation and apportionment of overhead using absorption costing. Factory overhead, primary and secondary distribution. Administrative overhead, the allocation to various cost center. Then selling and distribution overhead, and then the treatment of R&D. This is also a conceptual part, which is also required for your conceptual understanding, and may sometime can't come in under the theoretical question of last question, that is question number 6. ABC, improvement of overhead distribution and correct overhead distribution, that is activity based costing based on the cost driver. Very important concepts, and we need to understand these things very thoroughly. And then recording and accounting of cost, non-integrated, integrated, difference between the two, and reconciliation of profit as per cost and financial accounts under non-integrated accounting system. So this is the major part. You can see that 41 to 47 marks. Then the last part of the cost, the method of costing, single output costing, job costing, batch costing, process costing, and costing to service sector. In case of costing of service sector, all service sector at present which is available is included. We have operating, we have bus, we have airlines, we have a school, canteen, boiler, then IT industry, then we have toll plaza. So various kind of service industries included, and it's a very very important conceptual area you require to do. And the last segment, again a very important part, the cost control and cost analysis. So standard costing, marginal costing, and budgetary control, 25 to 30%, 30 to 35 marks. So standard costing, setting of standard, calculation and reconciliation of cost variances. Then the marginal costing, the basic concept of marginal costing, determination, very important part. And various short-term decision making is also included in this chapter. So make or buy a decision, discontinuation decision, multi-product break-even analysis, limiting factor. Then in case of budget, meaning of budget, essential of budget, budget manual, budget setting process, preparation of budget, monitoring process, and then the most importantly, how to prepare the flexible budget, cash budget, then master budget, and understanding of principal factor of budget, zero-based budgeting (ZBB), what is performance budget, various control ratio, numerical question comes from there as well, and budget variance. So these are the overall analysis we can have of the section-wise weightage. You need to understand that what exactly we are studying, and we need to study so that you can plan accordingly. Skill level wise weightage, as I told you, that majority of the questions will be numerical questions, 70 to 80%. So 20 to 30% will be the knowledge based or understanding based or theoretical questions. Distribution of marks, we all know that theoretical question as will be coming from various segment. So in the first part, the part A or division A, there is case scenario questions, as you can see here. So what is the composition of this? Two case scenario of 10 marks, that is 20, plus 5 into 2, 5 caselet of 2 marks. So that is 30 marks, as you can see here. Then descriptive part, the compulsory question will be of 14 marks. Normally 5 or 5 plus 5 plus 4 is the compulsory question. Then in the optional question 2, question 6. So 4 out of 5 questions of 14 marks. So 4 question into 14 marks, that is 56 marks. So combination of these three will be the 100 marks. So 30 and this part will be the 70. So 30 and 70 is basically the overall things. Out of the 70, 14 is compulsory. So this 44 marks is compulsory. And out of this 56 marks, there will be one optional question, that is the last questions. Now, since many of you will be appearing in the next examination, which will be holding from September. So what are the preparations tips we can give? Some of the good habits, like analytically grasp and keep it in your mind. So you need to revise it again and again. Brief and clear self notes. You can prepare your own notes based on your study. I'm sure that by this time you have already prepared. Do not study too much at one particular sitting. Obviously, this is the time where you need to study the things in a detailed way. So then also you may need a break in between. Specific time for specific topic of specific subject means details planning. Then we'll have study at the same time if possible. And social media, obviously, you need to keep your distance from there. And whatever the concentration way you can have, like yoga and exercise. So these are some of the non academic factor. And then academic factor, read and practice the study material conceptually. I'm sure that by this time you have already done it. Practice previous year suggested answer. This is very important. Previous year suggested answer, previous year questions, and if you can solve those questions in the real time, and then your RTBs and mock test paper, and then obviously various capsules, various revision material. We have sarans, so those things you can go through very, very effectively. As far as the preparation is concerned, you need to understand the concept. Uh, no sketchy answer should be given for the theoretical question. Practice numerical questions, avoid selective study, because when we are talking about the professional question, many of you ask that which topic is important. There is nothing called important in case of a professional examination like charter accountancy. Then understanding logic behind the formula, making use of working notes, tables, bullet points wherever required, so that your presentation is very, very important. So these are two questions. In most of the industry, the most important element of cost is what? In most of the industry, there are exceptions. This is the first question. And second is, when material price fluctuates, means sometime it go up, sometime go down. Which technique of pricing you think gives absurd result or does not give correct result? So these are the two questions which was given. Now we'll be discussing one questions of cost sheet from the first segment. Yeah. So this is the cost sheet question. You can go through very briefly. I will tell you. So if you can go through the questions for 2 minutes, then I will explain the question, what is there and how to do it. You can take a screenshot also if required. You can read line by line. So two important parameters are given as earning per man shift, and another one is output per man shift to measure an employee's output in a shift of 8 hours. Last month output is given, produced this much tons. Then raw material consumption is given, power consumption is given, diesel consumption is given, wages and salary is given, gratuity and leave encashment is also given. Higher charges, higher charges paid for car, reimbursement of diesel. Then there is a GST also, maintenance cost, AMC, TADA, and hotel bill. The company has how many employees, that also is given. What is the amount of the prime cost incurred during the last month? That's the first question. So you need to calculate the prime cost, which is direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses. Then second part is the total and per shift cost of production of the last month, total production as well as per shift. So both the cost we need to calculate. Then the value of administrative cost incurred during the last month. So what is the value of administrative cost that we need to find it out. What is the value of selling and distribution and total cost of sales. So when there are two answer given in a particular question, you need to be more careful. And sometimes if you can get one very apt, very appropriate answer, then other answer maybe automatically will come to your mind. So it's very important that you calculate one of the answer correctly. So accordingly, you can save some time for of when you will be doing these things for the examination purpose. Some timing can be saved so that you can devote that much of time for the other questions you have. And the last question is the value of EMS and OMS for the last month. So that is also given. And again, here two answer is given. And accordingly, you can find out that which of the answer is going to be correct. Right? Shall we go for the solution then? Okay. So in this kind of questions, we can prepare a cost sheet. But what I will request you, you don't prepare the cost sheet with the full presentation. You write down the figures. So scribble down on the rough that how this various cost will be coming. See, there is question of cost of production. You can see there is question of prime cost. So first question, you need to calculate prime cost. Then you need to calculate the cost of production. You need to calculate selling and distribution and total cost. So from the cost sheet, you will get everything. But if you prepare with this kind of presentation, then it will be difficult for you to go for this. So first, material consumption we have written here. So when you will be calculating the prime cost, it's basically that direct material and direct wages, and if there is any direct expenses. So these figures are already given. You can see these figures are already given. Material is also given, power is also given, diesel is also given. So we can multiply and put it. Wages and salaries, in the wages word is given, so we have taken it at the direct cost. Gratuity and leave encashment related with the wages that we have taken. Then power cost, diesel cost, and hiring charges also we have calculated and taken under the prime cost. So prime cost is coming 7 crore 87 lakh 10,000. So this is the prime cost. Now, if you see, so what will be your answer? Your answer will be D. Yes. So this is your answer, answer D. And through this answer D, your prime cost will be determined. Second question, there was two part of it. One is the what is the total and per shift cost of production for the last month? Okay. So total shift, total is also there and per shift is also there. So we need to find out the answer in two part. But as I told you that if we can get one part, obviously prime cost we have got here. Now let's see how we are calculating the second one. When we are talking about the cost sheet, the cost of production per man shift. So total cost of production we have taken divided by the total man shift. That is 1682.22. This one. And this is the cost we have taken. So option, you can see once again the answer. Cost of production, that is a 787,28,000 divided by the total man shift. So per man shift we can get 1682. And so the option which will be correct in the second one is option C. So from the cost sheet, and if you scribble it, if you just write down the figures in a rough, you will be able to calculate it. So now let's go for the third one, the administrative cost. Uh, the card charges are basically the administrative charge cost. So the answer we'll be getting is 92,400. This one. So first question we have got, second we have got this one divided by the man shift. This is the third question we have got, third answer. Now let's go for fourth answer. That is the cost of sales as cost of sales we will get from the cost sheet, and selling and distribution will include maintenance, AMC cost of the CCTV, TADA. So if you include these three, then you will get the selling and distribution. Now again, when you will be taking the option cost of sales, already you know. Now let's see if through the cost of sales we can find out something. So cost of sales, we know how much is the cost of sale. Once again, 788 76,400. So 788 76,400. So there are two options which can be correct, this one or this one. Okay. So if you go through the cost sheet further, already if you see that there is 20,000, this two itself is 56,000. You can get this. This is 56,000, 20 and 36. So from here, very easily, even without calculating, you can understand this is 56 and this is 788, 76,400. So the option which will include this two, that means this option will be correct. That is option B. Correct? And last, EMS and OMS, that also we have calculated here. Man shift we have calculated. So EMS we have calculated total employee benefits paid divided by man shift, and computation of output per man shift divided by the man shift. So both cost, employee benefit as well as output man shift, we have we have divided by the man shift to get the final result of uh, you know earning per man shift as well as output per man shift. So this is the two unit which is used in industry. So that has been taken care. So the question, this case scenario of 10 marks, if you do the calculation on the right hand side and scribble it without showing the presentation, I don't think it will take much of a time. So you can really take the benefit of that and select the options. And again, wherever possible, by calculating one option, you can find out that what can be the other option. You go for that so that you can save certain times from your calculation. Right? Any doubt from anybody? Obviously, you can let us know so that we can take care of that. So this is a cost sheet concept, and very, very important concept. And many times we have seen that cost sheet is part of your case scenario questions, that is of 10 marks. Now we'll be going into another very important category of case scenario question, that is marginal costing. So before going into the marginal costing, before going into the decision making under CVP analysis, I will just request you to recapitulate that how the cost and profit relationship marginal costing. So we all know sell, variable cost, contribution, fixed cost, profit. Okay. Can you go through these questions for 1 2 minutes? Then I'll go through again line by line, and we'll solve from very beginning to end. I can show you the question. These are the various options, and we need to calculate. We need to calculate the revised sales. We need to calculate the revised break-even point. We need to calculate revised margin of safety (MOS), a revised profit, and total cost of the last year and the coming year. So both the calculation we need to show. But anyhow, first of all, you go through the concept, go through the questions. Line by line, I'll request, if require, you can. And try to underline the figures. Whenever we'll be going through this kind of questions, you underline the major figures. Like capacity level is there, capex is there, PV ratio is there, break even is there. So please go through those important datas which is given in the question, so that when you will be solving the question, it will be easier for you. Okay. So what is the question? A meeting of the head of departments of Arnab Limited has been called to review the operating performance of the company of the last financial year. So the head of production department apprised that during last year, the company could operate at 70% capacity level. But in the coming financial year, in the next year, they can operate at 95% capacity level. So whenever the capacity level increases, that means your production capacity increases. And if your sale can match that particular figure, then definitely your sale will increase. And at the same time, your profit will increase, because variable cost only will vary, but fixed cost will remain unchanged. So if you can increase your production, and simultaneously if you can increase your uh, sales, then automatically that will be beneficial for the company, and company will be getting benefit out of it. So head of finance department has presented that during the last financial year, the company had a PV ratio of 40%. So last year, PV ratio of 40%. PV ratio of 40% means what? That contribution by sales ratio is 40%. That means if 10 rupees is the selling price, 4 rupees is your contribution. So this way you interpret, this way you understand. So if you can develop the conceptual understanding, none of the questions will be difficult for you as such. To the reply to the proposal of increasing the production capacity level to 95%, the head of finance department has informed that this could be achieved if the selling price and variable cost are reduced by 8% and 5% respectively. Fixed cost will also increase by 20 crore due to increased depreciation on additional assets. The additional capital will be arranged at a cost of 15% from a bank. So very important, this additional capital will have a cost bearing of 15% per annum. In the coming year, It has been aimed to achieve an additional profit of 10 crore over and above the last year profit after adjusting the interest cost on the additional capital. So the following points is required to be calculated on urgent basis to put the same in the meeting. You being an assistant to the head of finance has been asked the followings. What will be the revised sales for the upcoming year? Okay. Upcoming financial year, that means the next year. Four figures are given, very closely related, all in 300 crores marks. What will be the revised break-even point for the coming? Because everything will change. So break-even point also will change. So what will be the revised break-even point? What will be the revised margin of safety, the MOS that has been asked? The profit of the last year and the coming year. So both the year, last year when the capacity was down and this year when the capacity is 95%, the total cost of the last year as well as coming year. So this is the question. 2 marks is given. I think it's a straightforward question as such. There is not much, what I will say, ट्रिक्स इन इट. बहुत आसान तरीके से इस क्वेश्चन को हम कर सकते हैं और जो मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग का कंसेप्ट है वी कैन अप्लाई दैट कंसेप्ट and very easily we can solve this particular question, right? So we'll be solving these questions now. So first we need to calculate the profit, the revised target or desired profit or expected profit. PV ratio, already we know that the revised PV ratio will be 45%. Any question anybody has? Okay. So shall we go for the working notes? So first, present sales and profit, very important. So total sales at present, break-even sales plus margin of safety is 250 crores. So this is another way we can calculate the sales. PV ratio is 40%. So 40% PV ratio means your variable cost will be 100 minus 40, that is 60%. So variable cost is 60% of. So fixed cost is 80 crores. Total cost is 230 crores. Variable cost is 150. So 150 plus 80, that is 230. So now if you deduct the total cost from the total sales in the upcoming year, that is 250 crore minus 230 crore, that is 20 crore. Okay. So now the revised sales, present fixed cost, increase in fixed cost 20, which is given. Interest on the 15% additional capital, that is 15 on 100 crore. So total revised fixed cost, it was 80, now it will be 115. Okay. So assuming that present selling price is 100, the revised selling price will be 8% less as has been told. So that will be 92. So new variable cost, which will be reduced from 60 to 55, will be 50.60. So your contribution will be 40.41.40. So 41.40 divided by 92. So you will get a new PV ratio. Now, once you are able to calculate the new PV ratio, revised fixed cost, I think your job is more than easy, and you can deal with the question very easily. So first is the revised sale for the current year. I think that question already we have answered. So revised sale will be 115 plus 20 plus 10 divided by, this is PV ratio just we have calculated. This is the profit which is expected, and this is the revised fixed cost. So 322.22. So if you go for the first question here, this will be your answer, right? Any doubt? Now the second part, what will be the revised break-even point for the coming financial year? Revised break-even point, revised fixed cost already we know, revised PV ratio already we know. So 255.56. So where is 255.56? So this one is the B. This option is B. What will be the revised margin of safety for the coming financial year? Margin of safety. So margin of safety means sales minus break-even point. So let's go for revised sales. That is already we have calculated 322.22, and revised break-even sale also we have calculated. Revised break-even sales also we have calculated. Okay. Just a moment. That is 255.56, I think, in the last question. Yeah, this one. So both we have already calculated. So your revised margin of safety, or MOS will be 322.22 crores minus 255.56 crore. That is 66.66 crores. Okay, technical team, can you allow Akshay to enter the classroom, please? He was waiting. Okay, I was also trying, but I also could not do it. Fine. Yeah, Akshay, you can try it once again. Yeah, no problem. You can try it. Fine. So the next question, the profit of the last year for the coming year are, that is given. Last year profit already we have calculated 20 crores, and this year profit also we have calculated as 30 crore. We can see it here. 20 crore is the profit, present one, and then we have taken the calculation of 30 crore for this year. That is the revised one. 20 plus 10. Yeah. Then the last question, last part was total cost of the last year and for the coming year. So last year total cost already we know. Last year total cost we have calculated. So that to 2,330 crore. And for the coming year, so if you talk about the variable cost, 55% is the variable cost. So 322 crores into 55%, that is 115 crore. That is this one plus 115 crore. If you add with these two, then it will be 292.22 crore. So definitely we can answer this question number 5. That is 292.22 crores. So very interesting, concepts of marginal costing and application, and we can solve this as a case scenario. And this type of questions not only can come as a case scenario question in the first part, but also this kind of question can come in the descriptive question when the big questions are there, 7 marks, 8 marks question as well. So hope these two question, both the question is well understood by you. If you have any doubt in any of the part, you just let me know. Otherwise, we'll be going for another very case scenario, because what was your request that sir you kindly let us know that how we can solve the case scenario questions at a rapid pace. So we have solved full two questions, I think we around 30 minutes or so. So if you can take 35 minutes or so, 35 to 40 minutes to solve the 30 marks, then I think it will be easier for you to go for the whole solution without any problem. Right? So just go through this question, and we'll be solving these questions also before we go for a break. You can go through this question. You can take a screenshot also if required. Right? I'm sure that you have gone through it or you have taken a screenshot. Now let's go through the question. The board of the J Limited has been apprised by the general manager HR that the employee attrition rate in the company has increased. The following facts has been presented by the GM HR. Training period for the new recruits is 50,000 hours. During the period, their productivity is 60% of the experienced workers. So they were going through the training program and their productivity was less. I think that's the normal phenomenon when a person comes and join an organization till the time he or she is fully trained. I think there is chances that the productivity they will not be able to match with the experienced worker. Definite chances. Time required by an experienced worker is 10 hours per unit, and it is 60% of the experienced worker. Okay. 20% of the output during the training period was defective. So whatever the production was done, 20% of the output during the training program was not effective at all. Cost of rectification of a defective unit was 25. So any defective unit has come and you need to rectify it, then you need to put a cost of rupees 25. Potential productive hours lost due to delay in recruitment case is 1 lakh hours. Selling price per unit is 180 and PV ratio is 20%. Settlement cost of the workers leaving the organization was 183,480. Recruitment cost was 156,340. Training cost was 113,180. Now, what has been asked is how much quantity of output is lost due to labor turnover? How much loss in the form of contribution the company incurred due to labor turnover? What is the cost repairing the defective unit? So you see that when an organization goes through this kind of attrition, the loss comes from various corners. Okay, it is not only challenge for the HR department to replace those people, but also temporarily we see that there is change and there is you know uh, I think Akshay is still there. Yeah, yeah, Akshay. I think you were waiting for the entry. Now I think you have been added. Akshay, any question first of all you have in this particular subject? We have discussed some case scenario, and I'm going through. Okay, let me finish this case scenario, Akshay, and then if you have any questions, I'll be taking those questions. Or if you have any question, you can straight away put forward to me. No, no issue at all. Okay. So, how much quantity of output is lost due to labor turnover? That is first one. Then, how much loss in the form of contribution the company incurred due to labor turnover? That was the second question. Then, what is the cost repairing of defective units? So that's another question. Third question. In all, options are given in each of these question. Then calculate the profit lost by the company due to increased labor turnover. And how much quantity of output is lost due to experience of the new workers. So we understand that when the company recruits new people, company attrition increase, companies suffer loss from different angle. So this is a question where you need to calculate what are the loss from different angles, from various angles. And if we can calculate that, then it will be easy for us to find out that how uh, attrition or the labor turnover can really affect the organization negatively. Shall we start? Okay. Yeah, we will solve it. Yes. No homework. This we can solve it right now. Yeah, first two case scenario also and this case scenario also. Because case scenario, if you can reduce your overall time, then you can concentrate more on the descriptive questions. So first question is output by experienced worker in 50,000 hours. So the question I told you to underline is the training period is 50,000. Please see here. And productivity is 60% of the experienced worker. So this two, and and experienced worker is 10 hours per unit. So if you talk about that, then output which can be given by the experienced worker in this 50,000 hours are very simple. It will be 5,000 unit, but new recruits will be giving only 60% of it, that is 3,000 unit. So there is a loss of output. So first loss is the loss of output. Okay. Earlier there was there was a loss of 10,000. Okay. And then we have another again lost due to again lost output due to inexperience. So 12,000 units. So that will be your answer. Contribution per unit 180, that is 20%, which is given in the question as I told you. So in the question itself, we can see that 180 into 20%, that means 36, and rest is the variable cost. So total contribution lost, if you see, what is the total contribution lost? Total contribution loss will be 12,000 unit into 36. So 4 lakh 32,000 unit. This will be the total loss, contribution loss. So second question, we have got the option A, that is correct. Then cost of repairing defective units. Now let's see the defective units. 20%. And the cost of rectification is 25. So again going there. So 3,000 unit into 20%. Okay. New recruities has produced 3,000 unit. You can see it from here. 20% of that, that means 600 into 25. So that will be 15,000. So cost of repairing defective units will be 15,000. That will be the third answer, that is B. Then D is calculation of loss of profit due to labor turnover. So loss of contribution we have taken, cost of repairing defective we have taken, recruitment cost we have taken, training cost we have taken, settlement cost we have taken, and addition of these things is basically the profit foregone. And the last one is output by experienced worker in 50,000 hours, that is 5,000 unit already you have calculated, and new recruits is 3,000. So this loss of output already we have calculated. You may not be calculating it separately at all, just to save your time. So the answers we have got now, first one is 12,000 unit. Second one, I can see it once again, that is 4,32,000 unit. Third one is I think 15,000. Fourth one, I think 9 lakhs, the profit foregone. And the last one, how much quantity of output? I think it's 2,000. Yeah. So this is another, case scenario questions based on concepts, and we can solve this question based on the concepts we have learned in the chapter employee cost. So three different case scenario questions we have discussed. First one was a very interesting one, and first one we have discussed from a topic from where case scenario question comes, that is the cost sheet. Then second one is another very important area, that is marginal costing or decision making. short term decision making. The third one is the employee cost or the labor cost and turnover. Not turnover also, we see that there is a question of calculation of percentage of turnover, but this was calculation of cost related to attrition. So this is really very good, when we talk about a case scenario. Okay, so these are some of the case scenario questions we have got, and we will continue to discuss this. Now, in the first chapter, chapter wise, certain things I will tell you. In the first chapter, there is introduction to cost and management accounting. So, objective of cost and management accounting, scope, relationship of cost and management accounting with the other related principle, use of IT in cost accounting, users of cost and management accounting, role and function, cost object, cost classification, responsibility center. These all are part of it. And this is another question, cost unit used in power sector, obviously kWh. And now in the second chapter, I told you what is there, but let me focus on the numerical part. This is one. Then the level of inventory, level, inventory control. This is number two. So this is number one, number two. And then there can be price, LIFO, FIFO, and inventory ratio also sometime. And then accounting and control of waste spoilage. The difference between stores, ledgers, and bean card, and some conceptual idea about material requisition note, MRN, GRN, etc., etc. Okay, now GST is very much connected with the material cost. So when you will be studying this particular subject, you can refer those concept of GST also and can get connected with the material cost. There are certain numerical questions which is given in the study material after getting it connected with the GST. So it will be better if you go for the calculation of those as well. So these are the conceptual formula we have, and you can take a screenshot of this. Maximum level, minimum level, average level, reorder level, danger level, EOQ, inventory turnover ratio. This was I was telling, and inventory turnover period also. So this also sometimes comes in the chapter of material costing itself. Then inventory turnover period, safety stock, annual demand by 365, and the difference between the maximum lead time and average lead time. Then calculation of total inventory cost, how the concept of EOQ has come. And we can solve these questions related to EOQ now. Okay, you can take a screenshot and you can go through the questions for 1 minute. So we need to find out the economic order quantity. Consumption of material is given, order placing cost is given, cost per kg of raw material is given, storage cost is also given. So we'll be solving these questions maybe after taking a very small break. Okay. And technical team, just give a break of few minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll continue. Mr. Vivek, hello. Just keep some minutes of break and then I'll continue. मिस्टर विवेक शुरू करिए. एक तो पानी ना हमेशा रखा हो. शुरू करो प्लीज. थैंक यू बेटा. ये बोल देना मेरे को, वो कर देगा, मेरे से ले लेगा. Hmm. Welcome break, my dear students, and we were discussing the economic quarter quantity question, and so this is the question where consumption of material is given, order of placing cost is given, and cost per kg of material is also given, and the storage cost is also given. So simple questions. So these are the data. What was there in the question? So EOQ was 2AO by C, that is unit consumed during the year. Ordering cost per order, then inventory carrying cost per unit, that is 8% of 2. So if we place all these datas in this question of EOQ, then we'll find out that the total EOQ is 2500 kg, and number of orders to be placed in a year is 4 per order. So 10,000 can be divided by 2500 kg, so 4 orders per year. In from this particular unit, as I told you, that another very important concept we see is the treatment of loss of material. So I told you that there are five important loss of material form we see. One is the waste, loss during the storage period or production period. Scrap disposed of without further treatment, which cannot be really uh, used for further treatment, further process. Spoilage, which is badly damaged in manufacturing operation. Defective, final product has come, but substandard product which cannot be remade. And obsolescence because of change of technology or the process of manufacturing. So when we are talking about the waste, the normal waste will be absorbed by good production unit. Abnormal will be transferred to costing PL. Scrap normal to be borne by good units, and realizable value is deducted from the cost. Abnormal profit or loss in the scrap account on realization will be transferred to the costing PL. Spoilage normal will be included in production. Any value realized credited to production. Abnormal charge to the costing PL. Normal cost less realizable value charged to the material cost of production. Abnormal material cost of abnormal loss transferred to profit and loss account. And this is basically a loss, so there is nothing normal in this. But otherwise, normal generally will be absorbed by the good unit production, and abnormal will be charged to costing PL. So, a very important chart of treatment of loss of material. Now, what are the points you can remember, in this particular part? While practicing the chapter, you should keep in a certain specific topic from where the question usually asked. These are where you can practice the questions little more, but all the topics are important. EOQ, as I told you, various stock level, minimum level, maximum level, reorder level. What are the changes can be there? Treatment of waste, scrap, spoilage, deterioration, normal loss, abnormal loss, etc. And a lot of time we see that in case of writing the treatment, students lacks the conceptual clarity. So students need to practice more and more for quick recapitulation during the examination period. Calculation of annual consumption for material or for finished goods. Then carrying cost, then how carrying cost is calculated, average inventory. So these are the some of the steps, CIQ. Then whether rate is given, if only amount is given, then how it is to be done. So all those permutation combination you can jot down in your own notebook, and accordingly you can make the treatment. So this is a very important chapter. A lot of time we see that numerical question as well as theoretical questions comes from here. Now the next important part we come is employee cost. So what exactly we'll be studying in employee cost, the meaning of employee cost, control of employee cost, attendance, payroll, wage system, overtime, idle time, timekeeping, time booking, efficiency rating procedure, employee turnover, etc. Idle time, break for lunch, normal rest time, etc. Time which cannot be avoided or reduced in the normal course of business. It should be charged to the cost of production. And idle time, normal idle time and abnormal idle time. So abnormal idle time is like fire, there can be strike, lockout, power failure, or any other problem, and it arises on account of abnormal loss causes and should be charged to costing PL. So idle time, like routine time, which will be absorbed by the normal course of business, and it will be charged to the cost of production. Whether abnormal idle time, you can see the example which is given, fire here, but strike, power failure, all those things can be there. And so treatment of idle time will be different. Now, wage payment system, you can also prepare your own chart in this way: time based, output based, then premium bonus. There are two techniques of premium bonus generally we see. One is the Halsey premium plan, and another is the Ravan premium plan. So, Halsey, we take the 50% of the time saved into the time rate, and Ravan we take time taken into rate per hour, and then time saved by time allowed into time taken into rate per hour. And in case of 50%, then both the bonus calculation under both the system will be equal. Employee turnover, replacement method, separation, flask, all these methods you need to know and need to calculate. So practice some numericals from there. Now, bonus paid, I just was telling, under the Halsey, with your bonus at 50% for the time saved equals to bonus paid under Raman system, when this statement will be hold good, when this statement will be true. So if you see, this is the way we calculate the bonus under Halsey, and this is the way we calculate bonus under Ravan. So bonus under Halsey will be equal when following condition hold goods, when we can equate both. Now when we are equating both, you can see that everything matches this, this one, this one. So when 50 by 100 is your actual by standard hour, so then only it will be equal. So when the actual time taken is 50% of the time allowed, the bonus under both Health and Ravan will be equal. So sometime question can be asked related to this also. Another question asked sometime that under Ravan system, a highly efficient worker may obtain same bonus as less efficient worker. Prove with the help of an example. So time rate, if we take as 60, time allowed 8 hours, time taken 6 by X is 6 hours, time taken by Y is 2 hours. So he has taken time of 6 hours, he has taken time of 2 hours, he's very efficient, he is not so efficient. So bonus in this case, if we talk about, please keep in mind that this is we are talking about the Ravan system. So under Ravan system, bonus, how we calculate bonus? time saved by time allowed into time taken into time into rate per hour. So for X, it will be 2 by 8 into 6 into 60, that is 90. And for Y, who has saved 6 hours, who is very efficient, is also 90 rupees. So we can understand that even if you are saving 2 hours or you are saving 6 hours, the bonus under our Halse will be equal. So sometime it may not be good for the highly efficient worker. What are the important points you can remember in this question based on employee cost, direct and indirect, treatment of normal idle time and abnormal idle time, treatment of overtime wages, calculation of wages under Halsey and Rawan, methods to calculate employee cost. So these are some of the treatment which some of the important points, some of the important questions which you need to understand. Now, very quickly, we can go for distribution of overhead and then some points to remember. So you can see here that estimation of overhead first we do, then directly attributable to department we generally give. Then we make the apportionment of overhead on the basis of benefit received, on the basis of cause and effect, other sustainable basis. Then the reapportionment is done, service department to production department, then direct distribution step method or reciprocal. Under reciprocal, simultaneous trial and error are repeated. So this is very important. Lot of time we see numerical question comes from simultaneous equation, trial and error, as well as repeated distribution and absorption by actual units at predetermined rate. So this is how the distribution of overhead is done. This is how we calculate the absorption rate or overhead rate. These are the type of overhead rate. Very important one is the blanket rate. The overall overhead, total overhead for the factory divided by total unit of base. So meaning of allocation, apportionment, absorption should be very clear to you. And you must know various methods of reapportionment. As I told you that these three are the most important one. Generally we see. Activity based costing, which is based on the driver, and main thing is what are the improvement, what are the additional advantage we get while applying the activity based costing. Now you can see that these are different activity and these are the cost driver. So cost driver is basically, for an example, printing. Let's say printing cost of one department will be depending on what number of printing that department has done. So activity like production scheduling, number of production runs, dispatching, the number of dispatch orders, good received orders, inspection, machine hours, which is used for inspection. So some part of theoretical question, otherwise we see numerical question, descriptive question, as well as case scenario. So all possibilities are there. Very important topic from management accounting perspective, activity based costing related to overhead distribution, and you must practice more and more numerical as we have prescribed. Now cost sheet, obviously format is there. This is how we calculate prime cost. So there was a numerical question we have discussed in the first case scenario. So this is a classic example that how it is to be done. You can take a photograph of it. Yeah, prime cost. What is prime cost? Direct material, yes. Direct employee cost plus direct expenses. Then take that prime cost plus factory overhead plus opening stock of WIP minus closing stock of WIP plus other factory related cost. What is cost of goods sold? Cost of production plus cost of opening stock of finished goods, cost of closing stock of finished goods, cost of sales, cost of goods sold plus administrative overhead plus selling overhead plus packing cost plus distribution overhead. So this is the last one, that is the cost of sales. And if you talk about the format, how it is to be done, it is given in the study material, but here obviously is more what I will say in a pictorial manner. So again, you can see that direct material consumption, opening plus purchase minus closing, then direct employee, direct expenses, that is prime cost. Work overhead, we have added, so we have got gross working cost, work cost. Add opening WIP, closing WIP, you deduct, then you will get factory cost. Add R&D, quality control, administrative, or a sale of scrap, then you will get the cost of production. With cost of production, opening stock add and less closing stock, cost of goods sold, administrative overhead, add add marketing overhead, selling overhead, distribution overhead, cost of sales. So we can do a small question on cost sheet. Just go through the units which is given. What are the things which is given? Again, you can take a photograph of it, take an image of it, so that you can refer later on also. So raw material is there, direct wages is there, machine hour is there, machine hour rate is given, administrative overhead given, selling overhead is given, unit production is given, unit sold is given, and selling price per unit is also given. So what we require is uh, to prepare a cost sheet showing various costs per unit. So once again, you can refer this data. So we are putting this data here now, and you have written 4,000 unit. So each data divided by 4,000 unit will be the cost per unit. Many time in the question, specifically it is asked that you should be showing the cost per unit data as well. Okay. Shall we start then? Yeah. Raw material already given. Direct wages is already given. So prime cost we have got by adding this to 180 plus 90. Factory overhead, hours was given 10,000 into 8, that is 80,000, that we have added. Then cost of production we have got. In the meantime, we have also divided all these things by 4,000 and we have got this. Less closing stock of finished goods. This one, 4,000 minus 3,600. This two that we have adjusted. So cost of goods sold we have got 3,15,000, right? Yeah, 400 into this unit production, correct. 87.50 into 4, 0, 0, 0, and 35,000. If you add two more zero, so this will be 35,000, which is this one, and multiplied by the difference between the stock. This one given already. You see, unit produce is 4,000, you have sold 3,600. Definitely balance 400 is there in your stock. Cost of goods sold is this one. Add administrative overhead, general, selling overhead 18,000. Cost of sales is 3,68,000. Important points to remember while preparing cost sheet. Sometimes students get confused regarding the treatment of certain items, like in the case of administrative expenses, power and diesel. Well, in case of no clarity in the question, students may take assumption in the way of note whether it's direct or indirect expenses. Next is cost accounting system. I think here the most important part which you need to do is the reconciliation. So this is a simple way of doing reconciliation. Again, you can click a photograph of it, click an image of it. This is also given in the study material in a different way. So items which included in financial accounts only, the pure financial expenses like interest on loan or bank mortgage, expenses and discount on issue of shares and debenture, other capital losses like lost by fire not covered in insurance, losses on the sale of fixed asset and investment, and some purely financial income. So it is divided into two parts. One part is the financial expenses, another part is the financial income. So item included in cost accountant only, then item received on bank deposit, loan and investment, dividend received, profit on the sale of fixed asset and investment, transfer fee and rent receivable. And items which is in cost accountant only, the notional expenses, charges in lieu of rent, interest on capital at notional figures, salary for the proprietor, notional depreciation, etc. So this is how the reconciliation is done. Unit and batch costing, particularly regarding the batch costing, it's basically based on the concept which is there in the uh, economic order quantity. So many time in the revision, we prefer to keep that batch or the economic order quantity and apply that in case of a batch. Uh, then quickly going through the joint product, byproduct, and process obviously is important. And case of process, inter process profit is very important. Then what is joint product? What is byproduct? And what is co-product? You conceptually understand that two or more product of equal importance when produced, they are joint product. Product recovered from a material discarded in a main process is basically known as byproduct, and two or more products which are contemporary but do not emerge necessarily from the same material in the same process are known as co-product. So there are various ways of apportioning the joint cost over the joint product. based on physical unit, based on net realizable value, and some other way of doing it, like contribution margin, market value point separation. This all you should be knowing very clearly, and particularly if in the question nothing is mentioned that which one to be applied, you should be able to apply it judiciously. Yeah, this is the one. Cost over byproduct, NRB, standard cost, compare price, and reuse price. Treatment when they are of small value, sales value by of the byproduct may be credited to the PL. Sale proceed of the byproduct may be treated as reduction. When it is considered to be a important or considered value, joint cost may be divided by using relative market value, physical output, or ultimate selling price if at all the sales are there. And where they require further processing, NRB of byproduct at splitting point and realizable value of byproduct. Another very important topic is the service costing. So, first of all, there are various service sector which is covered. I told you in the very beginning, there are various service sector which is covered under service costing. Two unit, first of all, you understand the composite unit and the equivalent unit. Now, what are the service industry we follow in case of service costing? Transport, bus, rail, airlines, hotel, lodges, canteens, hospitals, IT industry or IT related industry, toll road, educational institutions, school, colleges, educational, various charitable organization, insurance company, financial institutions like banks and others. So these all are covered under the concept of service costing. At a glance, now the next is the standard costing, and you please refer to the various classes that how the formulas of standard costing are basically determined. So these are material cost variance, labor cost variance, and overhead cost variance, how the classification has come. This is the summary of various numericals, which is there in the study material. Now, yes, some were telling that the concept of marginal costing, how the basic concept. Basic concepts are very simple, in fact. So first, you need to understand that when you are talking about marginal costing, what does it mean? So for 100 unit, if my cost is, let's say, 500, and for 101 unit, if my cost is 505. So for this additional 1 unit, my additional cost is 5. So this is basically marginal cost, which is nothing but the variable cost. Okay. So this is how the cost and profit statement looks after marginal costing. Then this is the marginal cost equation. Already I told you S minus variable cost, contribution minus fixed cost is profit. Profit can be plus, profit can be minus. Minus means loss. Then, so this is basically the statement. Break-even point can be two. Break-even point normal, that means non-cash, fixed cost by contribution. Cash break-even point is cash fixed cost by contribution. Multi-product break-even, total contribution calculated by taking weights. Sales quantity basically is taken. A lot of time questions come from that concept also. So sales minus variable cost is equal to fixed cost plus profit and loss. Then this is another way of calculating fixed cost. This is break-even sales. This is PV ratio. This is contribution. This is again PV ratio. Break-even sale plus margin of safety is contribution. Then this is A plus P. Then this is P. This is PV ratio. This is another PV ratio. This profitability contribution by key factor, margin of safety, 50, total sales minus break even sales, then margin of safety, that is total sales minus break even sales. So graphically, sometime we say, so this is the fixed cost curve, this is the total cost, this is the variable cost, this is the total cost, and this is the sales. So this is basically the break even point, which can be measured in unit and it can be measured also in quantity. Okay, so the concept is based on that. So here is small question, PV ratio is given and profit is given. So profit by PV ratio will be the margin of safety. Okay, so we'll do one or two more questions and then we'll finish it off. So this question, first of all, let us do. You can read some of the data. Very simple one, very conceptual one. Go through it. What is the amount of fixed cost? Okay, 1,50,000. What is the amount of variable cost? 15. What is the amount of selling price? 30. So can you calculate contribution first? It will be 30 minus 15, that is 15. Can you calculate PV ratio then? It will be 15 by 30 into 100, that is 50%. So almost you can calculate everything. You can see it here. So break-even point is 1,50,000, fixed cost is already given. So break-even point is 1,50,000 divided by contribution. Just now we have calculated the contribution. Next part is sales to earn a profit of 20,000. Now your fixed cost is 1,50,000 plus 20, that is 1,70,000 by 15 into 30, 3,40,000 divided by fixed cost plus desirable profit divided by PV ratio, that is 3,40,000. So PV ratio will be contribution by sales into 100. I think these questions you can go through later on. Let me finish it off. Budgets and budgetary control. So type of budget, particularly flexible budget, is important. Budget ratio, then various concepts like zero-based budgeting, performance, capacity-wise, function-wise, period-wise, and master budget. That will be from the type of budget. Now further going on, capacity-wise, this will be fixed and flexible. Flexible, probably the most important concept we learned from here, and a lot of numericals we generally practice from the flexible budget. Function-wise, sales budget, production budget, plant utilization, direct material purchase, use, direct labor, factory overhead, production cost, ending inventory budget, cost of goods sold, selling and distribution, administration expenses, R&D, capital expenditure, and cash budget. Period-wise, long-term, short-term, and current budget, and master budget, which combines everything. This is the difference between fixed budget and flexible budget. Again, very important. You can go through a question. And these are the budget ratio, which I was talking about. So efficiency ratio, activity ratio, calendar ratio, standard capacity ratio, actual capacity ratio, actual usage ratio. These all are part of it. Now, this will be the last numerical questions you can go through. Present sales is given 6 lakh, utilization of 60% capacity. Selling price is given 100, variable cost 30, semi-variable given, fixed expenses given. It can be increased by 25% and at and above 80%. So when you'll be touching 80%, this will go up. Operating cost 60, 80, and 100% you need to show. So these are the data we have: selling price, variable cost, semi-variable, uh, fixed. So unit we have written here. Sales we have put it here, multiplying by 100. Variable cost 35, 30 plus 5, 30 and 5 of semi-variable. So 35 multiplied by 6,000, 35 multiplied by 8,000, 35 multiplied by 10,000. So these are the variable cost. If you reduce this to this minus this will be your contribution. Fixed cost 60,000, other fixed cost up to 80%, it is 1 lakh, then it is increased to 1,25,000. So total fixed cost in each cases we have reduced, we have determined, and from contribution we have reduced the fixed cost. We have got the operating profit, and we have seen that when you are operating at 100%, then definitely your, despite increasing of fixed cost, your operating profit goes up. So these were basically the conceptual part. How to revise? Obviously, quick revision capsules are there, which is known as sarans. Go for quick and short notes which you have prepared over the period of time. Highlight bold portions in module or wherever you have written. Compilation of the formulas, conceptual understanding. Refer to the points of mistake in numerical question. Whenever you have problem, you can prepare your error book also, so that you can write down all the problems, all the errors, all the mistakes there. Take short break in between, so that you can keep your mind fresh. Revise the new points, type of questions in your revised RTPs. Do's and do nots in reading time. Read every question carefully, underline the requirements at least mentally, underline all important points. Choose the question which you would not attempt probably, from 2 to 6, one question which you think you will not be attempting. 3 hours writing time, numerical questions first, afterwards theory. Solve the easy question first and then difficult, the questions which you are comfortable. If you are stuck anywhere, leave it and start a new questions. Give a gap of some, so that you can go for, your presentation is correct. Leave last few minutes, 10 minutes or so for revision. Wasting time and reading question requirement only, making margins on answer sheets, leaving any numerical question to solve in the end. Maybe 5-10 minutes are remaining, you can still go for theoretical question, but numerical question in last 5-7 minutes will be very difficult. Not managing time and devoting a lot of time to one question, you need to attempt more and more question, if possible the full one. Now wasting time and writing 2 pages answer for 4 marks or 3 marks theoretical question, leaving a lot of blank pages together. If you have to cross it, do not panic in any situation. Paper may be moderate, paper may be difficult, paper may be easy, but whatever may be the situation, you need to give your best in those 3 hours. So these are some of my thought process, which I thought I would share it with you, and I hope that we could finish the full almost all concept. And this is the mock test paper which we have given in the last examination, that is examination 2, memory paper series 2. So go through this. There are new questions. So like this one questions how it has been solved. I think answers are also now there, so you can go through it. And if you have any questions, then you can let us know. Then second, also a interesting case scenario of home mart. You can go through these questions also, which is based on activity based costing, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then there are certain standalone slate questions. Looks lengthy, but conceptually, if you understand, it will not be difficult. Then there are these descriptive parts. This is another interesting question of EOQ. Capacity ratio, activity ratio, and efficiency ratio. Sometime you find process, operating cost, or service costing, then reconciliation, then standard costing question, employee cost, recruitment related question. Then this is a question of shift related question, very interesting question, and some standalone small marginal costing questions, then certain theoretical questions, interesting theoretical questions as well. So this is there in the MTP. Solution is also there, and I hope that you have gone through the concepts which we have discussed, and you can revise it from the class, and any particular questions in any of the part if you have, you please let us know. That's all from our side. Thank you very much. Ah,